So recently I was asked by a viewer how I actually got this Velomobile, since not many of them exist in North America. So this is the story of how I got my Quest. In 2015 I was living in the United Kingdom, and I had done a lot of research on Velomobiles and Coroplast Velomobiles and people that had built them. I decided I would try and build a Coroplast Velomobile around my Trike 700, which I did, and I really enjoyed, and I rode it to work several times, and I rode it on several rides with the local club there in Manchester. But what it really let me know was that I really wanted a real Velomobile. It was suggested to me by a couple of the British guys to go to the German forums, and this one fellow contacted me. He did not have his Velomobile listed for sale on the forum, but he contacted me and said, hey, I've got one. It's got a bit of damage, but I'm willing to let it go for a pretty low price. One thing led to another. He sent me some pictures, so I flew down to Germany. I flew into Frankfurt Hahn, which incidentally, Hahn used to be a U.S. military air base, and when I was in the 6th grade, I lived there and went to school there, and so it was quite fun to go back into Hahn and see the old base. He picked me up at the airport, and of course I did something that we always tell our kids don't do. Don't meet somebody on the internet and then go visit them. But that's exactly what I did. When I first walked in and saw it, this is what I saw. So I got up early Sunday morning, about 6:30, and popped open the garage, hopped in the Quest, and took off. Now, this Quest did have a problem with the power side idler. It was broken. I did have some issues with that several times, actually. It was a recurring issue, so my mechanical problems had to do with that particular idler, and it kept failing. I did have a catastrophic failure to where I had to get a new idler put on it, and when I put that new idler on there, I thought it was working. Had I known, I probably wouldn't have continued on without help from somebody, because the replacement idler that we put on there probably shredded within a few hundred feet, and I just didn't realize it. So by the time I got back to the UK, the chain had eaten through some of the carbon fiber reinforcement that goes across the chain tunnel, and had eaten through about half of the axle for the power side idler. When I got back to the States, I wanted to get it fixed, and one of the things that I did was I repaired the holes that had been put in the gashes in it. One was about 8 inches and one was about 10 inches on either side of the bottom where it had been moved in transport and damaged. So when I did that, I thought, I'm never going to be able to match this color, the yellow, because doing it in gel coat and then matching the color in paint is next to impossible. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult. So I decided to have a little fun with it, and I went ahead and put the flames on it. And in fact, the first Seagull Century in 2016 that I rode, it just had the flames on it. If you recall from my video about the graphics update, you can see in there where it was at the urging of my children to go ahead and paint the eyeball on it based on a Pinewood Derby car I had made. So that's the story of how I got Quest number 493 and how I've turned it into the Flaming Eyeball. And please like, subscribe, comment, or share. Until next time, cheers.